Okay, so this is dropout of high school sports. First, an introduction to dropout of high school sports. So with the importance, high school sports improve both physical and mental health, can help to manage stress, can create discipline, which leads to improved grades. Some stats that support this come from atyourownrisk.org, which is a website aimed to inform people about the value of athletics in everyday life. People that play high school sports are less likely to drop out and have a higher average GPA. They are also 15% more likely to attend colleges. They also earn significantly higher average incomes and can earn up to 40% higher test scores. Then my personal connection. So I'm someone who's played sports my whole life, and basketball has been my main sport, and it's something that I'd always thought that I would even play in college or had dreams of playing pro. But in this past year, it's changed, and I ended up stopping playing, and it was even hard for me to find the reason why I wanted to stop playing, but it really was a lot of things with coach relationships, team dynamics, and things of that sort. And I've also seen that with a lot of my friends have dropped out from their high school sports, and it's something only 2 players from the JV basketball team continued playing. So there were a lot of different reasons that everyone had as to why they dropped out. And then the definition of dropout is to withdraw participation or membership from something. Specifically with high school sports, it's to stop playing before graduation. Now for the lit review. So first, the most common theme was relationships with coaches. A coach plays a major role in an athlete's experiences, and a poor relationship can lead to dropout. Some coaches struggle to communicate, fail to connect with their athletes, or pressure them to specialize in only one sport, which was found in Witt and Dangy's research. Molinaro found that coaches who are too controlling or overly negative lower an athlete's confidence, making them want to quit. On the other hand, when coaches support an athlete's autonomy and individual needs, it increases motivation and helps them stay in the sport, which was found in Gillett's research. Finally, as athletes grow, coaches tend to shift from a supportive role to a more technical one, which can impact how players feel about their sport. Next, the effects of school. So the transition from from middle school to high school brings increased academic pressure, more practice hours, less free time, and a higher risk of injuries, found within Benson's research. Many student athletes struggle to balance their sport with schoolwork and extracurriculars, and often academics take priority. This becomes especially challenging as students begin preparing for their future careers while also trying to dedicate more time to their sport, according to Molinaro. In the end, some athletes are forced to choose between their academics and their athletics, and for many, school wins. Team dynamics also play a huge role in whether an athlete continues playing. When athletes are placed on teams where their skill level doesn't match their peers, it can be discouraging, according to Molinaro. Additionally, teams can change as players quit or transfer, which affects team chemistry, which is found in Espedelin's research. Other research also shows that when athletes are younger, they play sports mainly for fun, but as they get older, the sport becomes more stressful and that fun aspect goes away. Teammates can also impact motivation. Good teammates create a supportive environment, while negative teammates can make athletes want to quit just to avoid them. The last theme is parental pressure. Parents play a major role in an athlete's experience. In some cases, parental pressure can become overwhelming, leading to stress and decreased enjoyment, according to Witt and Dangy. Some parents push their children to win, earn scholarships, or live out their dreams through their kids, making the athlete feel like they have no personal motivation to play. This pressure can cause anxiety and fear of failure, which can increase the chances of dropping out. Over time, the role of parents shifts from being directly involved to mainly providing financial and emotional support, but not all parents have the resources to do so. And that was found in Espedelin's research. So the summary of these findings, Several key factors contribute to dropout. First, coaching relationships matter. Negative coaching helps them stay motivated. Second, school and academic pressures often force student athletes to choose between their sports and their education. Third, team dynamics impacts an athlete's experience. If they feel out of place or lose enjoyment, they may quit. Lastly, parental pressure can lead to stress and burnout, making sports feel more like an obligation than just having fun. Understanding these factors is important for creating a better environment for young athletes and helping them stay engaged in their sport. That was my gap in research question. So current research is mainly about just the youth or different ages. It goes from very young age and into college even for the current research. They look at differences with social inequality and dropout, and with different sports like soccer, rugby in different parts of the world. But my gap focuses mainly on male high school athletes, and it looks deeper into the causes. Instead of just saying that they had a bad relationship with their coach, it goes past that and looks at specific things that the coach might have done to have that bad relationship. So this leads me to my research question, which is what causes sports dropout for high school athletes? This addresses the gap because it's only for high school athletes, and it aims to find the reason why so many athletes drop out. Now for my method or rationale. So first, with questionnaires, they were used in many other research studies. One was done about youth soccer by Molinaro, and 309 people were given questionnaires for their research. And then another one by Gardner in 2017 looked at enjoyment and behavioral intention, where 327 people were given questionnaires and filled out. Then with surveys, there was a research done on social inequality and dropout rates, in which over 23,000 people had a survey administered to them. Now for my methods. So I sent out a survey, and approximately 100 athletes from different competitive levels responded. The participants were aged 14 to 18 years old. Recruitment methods included emails, in-person outreach, and online platforms. The focus was on athletes who had either dropped out or had remained engaged in their sport. And the findings aimed to provide insight into athlete retention and dropout rates. Then for my procedure. Participants completed an online survey designated to assess their motivation levels, experiences with coaches, parental influence, experiences with teammates, and their academic pressures. The survey was distributed through emails, and all responses were anonymous to encourage honest feedback. Then for my measures. So the survey included both multiple choice and open-ended questions to measure motivation, autonomy, and reasons for dropping out. The survey aimed to quantify participants' motivations and attitudes towards sports. Open-ended questions were included to collect data on personal sport experiences, and this data provided deeper insights into the findings. The combined data of both the open-ended and multiple choice questions creates a comprehensive understanding of sports participation and dropout rates. Now for my discussion. So the key findings were that coaching style, parental pressure, academic demands, and team dynamics were the key factors in athlete dropout rates. Supportive coaching correlated more with higher athlete motivation, and controlling coaching styles led to increased disengagement from sports. These findings confirm Fraser Thomas's research in 2003, who found that as athletes age, the role of coaches, teammates, and parents shifts in ways that can either encourage or discourage continued participation. A positive environment enhances athlete retention and performance, and understanding these influences can inform better coaching practices and athlete support systems. Now I'll talk about a few themes that were found. So first, higher GPA students tended to drop out more due to academic pressures. This was found in my survey with people that selected that they had over a 4.0 GPA, and those who responded with that had a higher chance to drop out because of academic pressures, as you can see with this graph. But it's important to note that also some students who have had a higher GPA still stayed in the sport and managed the two. One specific example from a 16-year-old baseball player who quit after over 6 years said that, "I've never had any real supporting or motivational coaches, and academics took priority. Another example was a 12th grader who played track and field for 2 to 3 years and dropped out in 11th grade, who cited academic challenges as the reason that he quit. Next is that coaching quality strongly affects retention. So negative coaching experiences correlate with early dropout or lower enjoyment in sports. One example of this is an 11th grader who quit soccer after over 6 years, said that the coach wasn't at practices and didn't seem to care about my injuries. The environment became toxic. Another example is a 16-year-old hockey player who rated their coach a 1 out of 10, describing them as petty, immature, and terrible at managing the team. Many athletes also mentioned favoritism among the coaches, poor communication, or a lack of support as key issues. These findings align with Gillett's 2012 research, who found that autonomy-supportive coaches positively influence motivation, while controlling behaviors lead to higher dropout rates. Similarly, Sarazen also highlighted that coaches who negatively impact athletes' self-perception contribute to dropout. Then we have differences between team and individual sports. So athletes in team sports like soccer, basketball, football, baseball, they report more issues with team conflict, coaching favoritism, and social exclusion, while athletes in individual sports like tennis, swimming, and esports mention self-pressure, lack of team support, or personal motivation as their struggles. An example of somebody in the team sport was a 16-year-old soccer player who said that it was a super competitive environment and became toxic. The coaches weren't there to keep people in check. And then a 16-year-old tennis player said that I didn't feel connected to anyone. And this is a perfect example of how being in an individual sport, you don't build the connections like you do in a team sport where the differences can occur. Then there are differences between playing multiple sports versus specializing in one sport. So athletes who play multiple sports reported higher enjoyment, but also more time management struggles. One example is a 16-year-old who played both football and basketball and said that competing with other people for starting positions was tough, but I loved playing different sports. Those who specialize in one sport tend to burn out faster, especially if they feel pressured. Now for the interpretation of the results. Athletes with controlling coaches may experience differing internal pressures. This can lead to a higher likelihood of dropout even among passionate athletes. A key factor in dropout decisions is the shift from self-motivation to external pressures. Understanding this transition is crucial for retaining athletes in sports programs. Strategies to support being self-motivated could also decrease dropout rates. Now for the conclusion. So the limitations. The study relies on self-reported surveys, including and introducing potential response bias from these athletes. They may misrepresent their motivations, and the sample size is also limited, affecting the robustness of these findings. Demographic limitations further restrict the applicability of the results. Overall, these factors hinder the generalizability of the findings across diverse athletic populations. Now, implications for practice. It would help with the dropout rates to create autonomy-supportive environments to improve athlete retention. They must address academic and social pressures to enhance balance into their sports. And they must also foster a sports experience that prioritizes personal growth. Another factor that would help is to encourage development beyond just external rewards. For the summary of the findings, my research highlighted 3 critical factors affecting athlete dropout rates: coaching style, parental influence, and academic pressures. Supportive coaching fostered a higher motivation among athletes. Controlling coaching support styles correlated with increased dropout rates. Parental influence played a significant role in shaping athletes' experiences, and academic pressures can increase the likelihood of dropout among athletes. Individual experiences significantly influence athletes' motivations and decisions as well. Each athlete's journey is unique, impacting their engagement with the sport. Recognizing this uniqueness can refine coaching strategies, and tailored approaches enhance support mechanisms for athletes. Improved understanding promotes sustained participation in these sports. For future research, they should focus on intervention strategies to combat motivation loss in athletes. Implementing longitudinal research can provide valuable insights over time. Tracking athlete experiences will help identify key factors influencing dropout rates. Understanding these factors can inform effective retention strategies, and these insights are essential for developing supportive environments for athletes.